Okay, this is part 2 of the Comet video, and it is March 7, 2013. As you can tell, we have somebody that is either working under remote control or somebody that is obviously working for the government, which is trying to impede this recording, trying to start an incident. And I have people on the phone that are listening. So, now we talk about what you can do about, if in fact it is coming and it's going to hit. Now, as I said in all my 3 years of videos, I have cryptically predicted things because I was being persecuted by the powers that be, whatever power they have or they think they have. These powers have pretty much, you have to visit my other videos to find out just how much they have destroyed my life. And there have been more than 30,000 people that have looked at all these videos. So the government knows there are a lot of people that tune in to me. And even though they tune in to me, these videos are very important because I'm going to give you instructions on what you have to do in order to save yourselves if in fact this comet hit. Now, let's go back in time. If I had not been interfered with, like I was rudely interrupted a minute ago in my other video, if I had not been interfered with by the government at the federal, state, and local levels, I would have been in Colorado building a huge community of 40 acres, which is going to lead, actually many of you will start to believe that at least that maybe I wasn't cryptically predicting, that I actually have a crystal ball that has a crystal clear picture of each future event that's going to take place. And the reason that this would exist is for reasons that I can't talk about right now, because many of you would find it hard to believe, and you would have to have a degree in quantum physics in order to understand how this thing works. Now, through all the 400 videos, I've explained that it's very complicated. It's not an easy thing to understand me. That's why many people, less than 20 people, have made comments over the last 3 years that said, you need meds and blah blah this and blah blah that. All these negative comments. One guy just recently saying, "What's that with the tag on your hat?" Well, hey, let me tell you this, buddy, whoever you are, and any of you who have criticized me in any way, shape, or form, put your head between your ass and kiss it goodbye, because that's what's going to happen to it. If you know anything about Shoemaker Levy 9, Shoemaker Levy 9, if it had hit, like I said before, if it had hit Earth, it would have done tremendous, multiple damages all over the planet. And it would have been something that would have been historic, probably similar to the Great Flood that supposedly Noah survived, which could have been a huge round-the-world tsunami caused by a huge impact, and that there was nothing anybody could do about it. So the problem here we have is, again, like the Time article says, who's telling the truth? Who do we believe? Now, many of you may cast me as kind of like a partial Moses, partial Noah, trying to tell you how to prepare for what's going to happen, if it in fact is going to happen. Now, they caught this comet early. They caught it coming from around Saturn. Now, remember when I cryptically talked, I said I cryptically can predict things ahead of time? That I discovered this comet long before they discovered it coming past Saturn. And I knew when and where it was going to hit. And I'm still not going to tell you where, because I got 10 months for you people to squirm. And you're going to be squirming for the next 10 months. Because you have a decision. You can overthrow this country and hand it over to a person or persons who can really, truly do the goodness that is necessary to put things back in order so that people can reclaim their self-respect, reclaim their real right to privacy, their claim to the rights that have been infringed upon over this piss-poor excuse of telling people, well, the terrorist attacked 9/11, and then the conspiracy theories about it not being the terrorists, that it was actually a plot by the government, and then you hear the Sandyhook conspiracy that it was a plot by the government to take all the guns. If that is true, and Sandyhook was a plot to take an excuse to take away more ammo and more guns away from people, that would make sense, coupling it with the idea about the comet. Think about it. Because if they take all the guns away, then when it finally is revealed to the public that the comet is in fact going to hit and they can't hide it anymore, okay, then they're going to want everyone, or the majority of people, unarmed, okay, so that the military, who has the guns, can put people in places where they say they'll tell them they're going to be safe when they're not. It's kind of like a repeat of what the Germans did when they gassed all those people. Here, we're going to let you go in here and take showers, and then they put cyanide gas in there, killed everybody. Okay? So they'll move you to places telling you that that's going to be a safe place. You have no way to fight back. And even if you did fight back, it would still be no place safe anywhere in the world that you can run to. When you're talking about a worldwide cataclysmic event, it's not something funny. It's something that you really have to seriously sit down and consider. All the factors. Why was I ranting and raving for 3 years? Because I was lying? Because I was nuts? The more that you people ignore me, the more and the worse it's going to get for you. I don't care. I don't care whether you believe me or not. What you do have to answer in your own heart and mind is this comet going to hit planet Earth? And is the United States government going to tell us the truth? Is the English government going to tell their people the truth? The Australian governments, the Spanish governments, the French governments, the Russian government, are they going to tell people the truth? Probably not, because it's not in their best interest. They'd rather let something come and hit the planet than and not have to worry about how many people are going to die, because they really don't care. Now, I've heard a lot of talk that the RAND Corporation has a whole system of tunnels underground that they built here in the United States. I've heard rumors. They're only rumors. I talked to a bus driver once who said he worked in those tunnels and that they do exist. So how many people do they plan to save? How many people are in the United States? Count them up. Who's worthy to save and who's worthy to sacrifice? Does anybody have the right to play God? I don't think so. I think the whole idea of a species, any species living on a planet that has this kind of technology, should all be putting their heads together and trying to figure out how they can avert these kind of dangers rather than play with the game of gossip and tell people the truth or lie to them. Because that's the irony. That is a continual irony that is being served to you on a platter made of gold. And you're expected to believe it, one way or the other. Sit down and think about it. You've got a mind. If they tell us the truth, we know we're going to die, a lot of suicides, the breakdown of society, and then the people that are in power right now won't be able to collect all the resources to stockpile them underground for them and them alone and whoever they choose to have down there with them. It's like in the movie 2012. Who lives, who dies? This comet is going to be, I'll repeat it, it's going to be, and this is not my findings, this is the news media. Check the news media and JPL and NASA. Go on YouTube and type in comet coming towards the Earth. It's going to be 15 times brighter than the moon, which means you're going to be able to see it in broad daylight alongside the moon. That is, if it isn't going to hit us. But are they going to tell you the trajectories? Government has access to the Sequoia computer, which is able to do what 3 billion, half the world's population, with hand calculators, doing 1 million bits of information per second, all at the same time. Now, that Sequoia computer exists today. So that means the government has the capability to actually work out the trajectories of this comet to the final degree, probably even to the inch. But whether they're going to tell you the truth or not is a big debate. It's going to fire up a lot of news media stories. It's going to even fire up new books. This is not 2K, YK, 2000. This is not some other calamity that's going to happen. This is a worldwide event. It's not at all like Halley's Comet. And of course, are they going to tell you how big the comet is? How big the body of ice is? That dirty body of ice that could cause a number of damages, not just hitting the Earth. There's other things it can do. Now, Shoemaker Levy 9 broke up because Jupiter's gravity is so strong that it broke the comet into pieces before it got close enough to go in and hit the planet Jupiter. Now, a lot of you will go back and study my videos and go, oh my God, Caesar's right. He was talking about Jupiter and Saturn. Is it a coincidence that I brought up Saturn and that the comet was first discovered coming around Saturn? And of course, how can you miss an object that's 15 times brighter than the moon coming around Saturn? They were probably watching the skies very carefully because of what I was talking about over the last 3 or 4 months. Now, I know that I have presented a lot of calamity or worldwide events, floods, things like that, that I wished it on all of you, that you all deserve it because of the damage that's been done to me. But believe me, I knew this damage was going to happen to me, that people are naturally hypocritical. They're very dangerous, like that guy that was in here a minute ago and interrupted my YouTube video. I had to talk to him in Spanish because the guy refused to talk in English. The guy was drunk on top of it. So a drunk person can be very easily controlled to do things that the government wants them to do. Trust me, I know. I've run into these kind of slime before. They're slime. And the real problem here is, why did that happen at that moment when I'm doing part 1 of the video? Why? It wasn't a coincidence. Trust me. They know where I'm at. They know where I record these videos, and they know. So, the biggest problem we have right now is, how do we get out of this? Well, I don't know how you're going to get out of it, but I don't care, because they took my cars, my boats, my motorhomes. They took this city of Los Angeles, took everything from me. The world deserves everything it gets. I don't care. I'll just pull up a chair and have a front row seat to the end of the world, if that's what it's going to be. Again, you have to ask yourself, is the government going to tell me the truth? Why would they release a story like that anyway to begin with? It's over there by Saturn because they wanted to be first to recognize it and first to name it. Like I told you, I've named it Sandyhook, Iraq, Afghanistan, in homage and tribute to all the innocent children that have been killed by your tax dollars. Okay? So you live with that. You live with that and think that maybe God is sending a terrible calamity on you, because a lot of religious people will think that way. They'll think God is sending some terrible calamity on us because none of us would band together and say, stop the wars, we don't agree with this, listen to us, we want to vote on whether you're going to go to war or not. And if you can't do that, then we're going to stop you by not paying our taxes. I mean, the answer is simple. You don't have to have guns, you don't have to protest, you just stop paying your taxes. Stop paying your rent. Stop paying your mortgages. If everybody stop doing it, you're going to stop it anyway. If this comet hits, the comet's going to make sure you stop all the payments. They'll close down all the banks. If everybody believes this comet is going to hit, they close down all the banks. You won't be able to get your hands on your money anymore. You'll want to stockpile stuff too until the last day. What for? You're all going to die anyway. So it would also create a tremendous health hazard, because that many people committing suicide, whole family committing suicide, would cause a health hazard with that many dead people laying all over the planet. You have some serious problems to consider here. Now, Obama can talk to you, the Prime Minister of England can talk to you, the Prime Minister of Australia, the leadership in France and Spain, it doesn't matter, the President of Russia, it doesn't matter who talks. How many of you are going to believe them? I wouldn't. I wouldn't believe them for 1 second because they neglected me, and so did you people. For 3 years I've been on YouTube asking for help, just at least to get out of this country. Now, I may end up dying here with all of you. Now, let me tell you in part 3 what I was going to do if I had never been interfered with. That's next. That's part 3, and that's coming up now, as soon as I get rid of this one here.